Hey everyone. Welcome to Uncle D's Basketball Life. Hey everyone. Welcome back to Uncle D's podcast. I got two special guests with us today. I have our very own Little Rob Jeter, who is a GA now, and we're going to get into that. And then we have your very own head coach, Robert Jeter. What's up, fellas?
Aren't all your guests special, or just us?
No, just y'all.
Okay.
And before he say anything, my alarm is off.
Okay, your first alarm is off, but you probably have 10 more. So you better turn all 10 of them off.
So, Coach and Lil Rob, tell everyone first where you guys were born and then where you grew up.
Well, I'll start. I was born in Madison, Wisconsin. Grew up in the Milwaukee area till like 8th grade. Then moved to Vegas my freshman and sophomore year of high school. Went to Bishop Gorman. Then moved to Minnesota. In my junior, senior year, went to East Ridge High. And then from there, we moved to Western. And then now Utah.
That's Western Illinois. Macomb, Illinois.
Macomb's, Illinois. All right, Coach, what's you?
Yeah, I'm born in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, Allegheny County. All of my family's from an area in Pittsburgh called Belle Suver, right above the Liberty Tubes. I love Pittsburgh. It's that's home. Of course, Chicago's home, but so is Pittsburgh. Grew up in Chicago. My dad is from Weirton, West Virginia. My mom is from Pittsburgh. They met at her aunt's house in Weirton.
Wow.
So that's that whole Pittsburgh, Weirton, West Virginia connection. And then obviously when he played for the Packers, it moved us towards the Midwest, where we lived in Milwaukee for a little bit. And then I don't remember those days, but I grew up and went to all of my schooling was in Chicago.
Okay. So that leads me into my next question, which is kind of cool. So last year we got to play in Chi-Town against Loyola Chicago. Now this year we actually playing Robert Morris in Pittsburgh.
Right.
So how do you feel about that, and then seeing family in Pittsburgh? Because last year was actually really cool to see all your family come out, and I met your mom, and then I found out that his mom's house literally is 30 minutes from my mom's house in Gary, Indiana.
Close.
And so we were talking about the bridge we had to go over, and then it was cool because my parents and my brother and sister got to come to the game. So, but now we going to Pittsburgh pretty much on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that now?
Oh, that's great. I mean, it's intentional, right? We talk about the pillars of our program. Faith is first, and then family second, and family's really important. So I try to take our teams, and we try to find games where we have family, where we have people that we can visit. So Pittsburgh was the natural next stop.
I'm excited because I've never been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get a chance to go across and see the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium or the baseball field. They pretty close.
All of it's right there. See, I know it as Three Rivers Stadium.
Yeah,
that's going way back, right?
Yeah.
So now I think it's PNC Park and all that. They have a beautiful area down there where it's an entertainment district. So you have the baseball field, football field. So yeah, maybe we'll have a chance to go down and see all that.
See, Lil Rob, you don't know nothing about like Terry Bradshaw, Ian Swan, football. Then baseball, you had Willie Stargell, Dave Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Man, you don't know nothing about them dudes. They were great. So, all right, fellas, we had our first scrimmage against Weber State.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Rob, I'll let you start now. I'll give Coach the opportunity. What was some of the things you took away from the game?
I would say that just our intensity needs to pick up as a team. And we actually had them pretty rattled, I feel like, that first 5 minutes. Just missed some shots to really blow the game kind of open to like an 8-point lead. Then after that 5-minute timeout, or the 15-minute media break, Weber State just came out playing real physical, and we just weren't able to match it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the big thing is I'm not sure what I can say about a scrimmage game other than for us it's just a chance for us to kind of figure out where we are, and not try to manage the game as much, but just let things play out. And we saw some of the things that we need to work on. And one of those things is that our pace, I think our physicality, limiting mistakes. So, again, we've been emphasizing it after that. And even before, we've been saying it and saying it and saying it, but I think now they really believe it. If we play harder than the other team, if we limit our mistakes and we take care of the little things, we'll always have a chance to be successful. So that's our focus.
Yeah, I thought offensively, we got a chance to be really good just because we're deep. And in the scrimmage, we didn't even shoot the ball well with, Dylan and Tanner. And so, of course, defensively is where it's at. But I thought when you look at some of the other scrimmages and exhibitions, a lot of people were in their high 20s and 30s in turnovers. I believe we're at 16, still a high number, but might not be as bad as some of the other teams that I have seen in scrimmages and turnovers, like the Auburn game, had 30 turnovers a piece. So I think somewhat that was a little encouraging too. I think we're 16 turnovers, 15 assists, or vice versa, if I remember right. But I thought that was actually a little bit encouraging, even though we do need to cut down on mistakes. But it's exciting because I just think this team just got a lot of room to grow. Everybody should be excited about this group. And now that we're talking about it, so for both, what do you feel is the difference between last year's team and this year's team? I'll let Pop start this time.
Well, I've said it in an earlier, I think, interview. I feel like we have the right personalities to work better together. It wasn't as much as talent. Okay, if I say we weren't as talented last year, obviously all those guys get offended, and that's probably not the best way to frame it. We were talented. I just feel like the personalities this year blend better. Not saying that we're always going to get along, but the way that they can handle adversity is a little different this year. It's more positive, but I like the personalities along with the talent. Of course, I think our ability to shoot the basketball from multiple positions, for almost every position, helps. But I like our personalities this year.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think we got a lot of higher IQ basketball players on the team this year, and just dudes that'll just listen. So when stuff goes wrong last year, especially being a player, we just had guys that would just come through one ear out the other, just not really trying to lock in on what we do every day. So
yeah, I think I'll say it because it is more talent than last year, but I think we're deeper. We're deeper too. Of course, the Tavies and the Doms and Jameer were special kids, but I think the 4-5 spot could actually really separate this team from last year's team because we're more skilled at those two positions where we can actually shoot the ball. And, I quite frankly, I think we probably score a lot better around the rim. Now, what we won't probably do with last year's group is Brock took care of a lot of stuff defensively because he blocked shots. And so, but I think just we're deeper. And so, and the personalities we got some pretty cool personalities. Zach Bell personality is probably too much, but that's our dude.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, other than a win Friday against Westminster, what are some things you want to see from our Friday performances?
Better pace for sure.
Okay.
When your turnovers are high now because you're playing a lot of players. So you're playing some guys who might not quite be ready, having not played a lot. So that lends to some turnovers. You have combinations out there that are different. So we can eliminate some of those turnovers. Even though we're doing all that, that would be good. But I think for us, our pace, our physicality, we have to improve on the things that hurt us last time, right? So I think our physicality and pace has to improve. We do those things, I'm pretty pleased.
Yeah, and we start working on that a little bit more with the physicality this week, where you kind of emphasize it even more this week of getting through screens. And The ball screen defense actually looked better in practice this week, but that's because Jaden and Kel were hard hedge, and we got to get your boy to hard hedge a little bit. But I'm excited. Last year this time playing Westminster, we were down 4 at halftime. So
Opening up 5.
Man,
Robert said 5. Where was it? 5 or 4?
Was it 5?
So it was 5. Okay. I can't remember.
So, Lil Rob, so tell me, okay, now you done went from playing for Dad, now you're the GA, you know, how has that been? As the whole from playing, now going to GA and getting into the coaching world of things?
The transition's been smooth. I feel like he's been coaching me for the last 4 or 5 years, really since I was little. So nothing too different on that end. Seeing how he acts around the office and stuff like that, and yeah, I would say like transition's been smooth. So like nothing really stands out. Not right now, at least.
So I coached my boys, and I didn't get to, not in college, but in AAU. Right. And I think the thing that I made a mistake with is I could never, when they messed up in the basketball game, I could never separate it when we got home. Like it was still, that stuff would still bother me.
You got less stuff going.
And my wife would be like, the game is done. We're at home. You know, I'd be like, man. And it's because it'd be sometimes their attitude. And so that is funny.
Because what bothers you, right, is if they're not competing.
Yes.
Like you said, their attitude, all those things to me that kind of, we all know, like those are separators. I mean, you're going to see a lot of talented people, but the ones that compete and the ones that when their attitude is like drawing people towards them rather than pushing them away, those are things that you want to see from your kids. You want to see them competitive. You want to see them grind their teeth and really do some things like that. But you also want to see a person that you want to be around that represents you well by having a great attitude. So I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. So, but there's another one for you, Lil Rob. It's kind of like, okay, because you was player last year. This year you're around the players more so than we are, right?
Yeah.
So what's your vibe with the chemistry of the guys this year compared to last year on the court and maybe off the court? Because I'm hearing some things that I don't think last year's team would have done. Like this team got a bowling team.
Oh yeah.
They got a bunch of people at the bowling alley talking about coming to the games. This group I hear all the time about like 6-7 dudes done went to the movies together. Like I didn't hear that last year.
Yeah. Like my guys last year were like Sykes, Ty, Dom. So like this year, like don't have those guys here anymore, but I have Isaiah, who I went to high school with. So mostly Isaiah being part of the team, I'm around the team a lot more. So like the bowling nights, always come and support them. It's a good time. Bowling fans there, love them. Should have a lot of bowling alley fans at the games this season. But yeah, outside of that, like they go to the movies. That's one thing we didn't do last year as a team. Now I think they're just more connected as a group this year, which is really nice to see.
Which I think it'll help on the court, too, because they got that connection.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing back in the day when the Fab Five was around, and they did their little deal when they had the movie part that came out. They always talked about what they did off the court with each other. Now, Jalen did some things that he wasn't supposed to do, but they always talked about, how they were off the court with each other. And I think that makes a difference. Yeah. I think it really do. I'm about to, so you don't know this, but Coach a Packer fan. I got 2 Packers fans over here. I'm a Bear fan.
A proud Bear fan this year. He wants to talk about it this year.
I'm a proud Bear fan every year, win or lose.
Come on.
So just let's talk about for you,
right.
The whole journey of your pops playing at Iowa, and then playing I think in CFL, right, and then goes to the Packers,
right.
And then he tried to leave out. Pop went to the Bears too, But just talk about that whole, for you as a kid, growing up, seeing all of that.
Well, first of all, it's the stories, right? You hear the stories of high school when he would play, and I think he was an All-American, but he wasn't like All-State. So, and it's different times.
Yeah.
But he tells a story of how my dad was one of the dominant players in that area, right? Weirton, really close to Steubenville, Ohio. At that time, you had, segregated high schools, and then they all came together. But he tells a story about how he got an interception, backpedaled into the end zone the last 20 yards, right? So because of that, he was left off of a list for all of the best players locally. But nationally, he was All-American, right? So you hear those stories, and those stories are real. And then you hear how he was recruited to Iowa. He says that he really loved Wisconsin, or he says that after seeing Wisconsin and going to Iowa, that Wisconsin would have been a very tough place to say no to. However, the Iowa guy made sure that he got to Iowa, so that's why he went to Iowa. Loved Iowa. Has a lot of great stories about his teammates there and being a player. They used to play both ends, so he would play. He was a defensive back and he was a running back. Of course, the Rose Bowl, 59 Rose Bowl, when he set all the records. I think he rushed for almost 200 yards on 11 carries. That's impressive. And then I think when you listen to some of the stories, one story is you can see that my dad had, some integrity and things when he talks about how, the CFL draft is before the NFL draft.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
CFL drafts him, gives him bonus money. He spent it. So then the Packers draft him. And by that time, he's like, well, I already spent the money, so I have to go to the CFL. So he goes for 3 years, honors that contract. And then he comes and joins the Packers. At that time, coming in as a running back, because he was a running back at the CFL, comes into the Packers, and they had some running backs. So then they tried to move him to a wide receiver. And then eventually, he was obviously always played D-back. He got his chance when the starting D-back in front of him got hurt. And then he comes into the game, and he never gave it back. So he tells these types of stories, and you hear them, and they stick, right? He also tells a story when he first got there. He was a secondary receiver on a route, wasn't running very fast. Bart Starr throws the ball 20 yards over his head, and at that time, all the head coaches, they were in the towers, right? They watched the practice above. He says when Barty comes down, grabs him by his helmet. That's probably another thing you can't do now. And told him, if you don't give full effort every time you're here, you won't be here long. So again, stories that you remember that kind of help shape you as you grow up, right? So I remember those things. And then I remember when he talked about the Bears. And I can remember as a younger kid watching some kickoff returns when he was there, because that was the end of his career. So 63 to 70 with the Pack, 70 to 73 with the Bears. And he was supposed to move into a coaching role with the Bears. That never happened. So my dad never really felt that warm and fuzzy about the Bears. But when you win Super Bowls and then you go back to those alumni games and you see the Bart Starrs and the Willie Woods and the Fuzzy Thurstons and you name them, Dave Robinsons, and I can go all the way down, Herb Adderley. When you meet all those guys and when they accomplish something special like that, it's just a different vibe. So that is, and then being a Chicago person, going to school in Wisconsin, and during that time, 87 when I went to college, 85, the Bears had just won it.
Right.
Very difficult to be in the city and not be a Bears fan, right?
Right.
So I go to college, Bears fan, repping Chicago. We had just won it, right? But as you kind of understand what's really important, and you see the friendships, the relationships, the championships, and being around that vibe going to Green Bay, man, it was easy for me to make the switch and be a full-time Packer fan.
Rob, you remember anything about your grandfather?
He would, I'll go to our grandma's house in Chicago. I remember he had this little rocking chair. He'd be in there just sitting there, not moving, right in front of the TV. But that's probably it. All I remember.
He had a lazy boy. He never moved from that chair. He was right. Yeah, that is true.
It's something about rocking chairs. And just we were in Denver and we went to Gutty's house. And we hung out with his mom and dad. And mom has a rocking chair for when she was a teacher. They gave her a rocking chair,
Right.
and it got to be 35, 40 years old, and it's sitting right there in the living room. It don't look like it's really been touched, but
Yeah.
it's something about them rocking chairs, man. My grandmother used to be in her rocking chair, and she would rock. Her favorite thing was to do after she cooked. She was an excellent cook. She would sit in her rocking chair and she would watch All in the Family, Archie Bunker, and Good Times. And she told my mom, she's like, baby, you know what? When I pass away, I want to pass away in my rocking chair watching Good Times. And we like, what? And so guess how she passed away? In her rocking chair. And when my brother was actually with her, didn't know it. He just woke up off the couch to get her to go to bed. And then she didn't wake up. And so when my mom get to the house, she's in a rocking chair and Good Times on.
That's a dynamite story.
Man, I mean, it's just crazy stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So for you, Coach, now that Will Ryan is on our staff, you pretty much don't watch him grow up. How is that for you having him here as assistant after watching him grow up, you know, being around basketball, and then obviously he played for Pops for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, how's that full circle experience for you?
Well, everyone knows my relationship with Coach, his dad, Bo Ryan. He's like he's still a mentor of mine, like another father or a big brother, and that's kind of how my relationship with Will is. Like, we're brothers, right?
Yeah.
I watched his journey as a player, and very tough, cerebral player. Probably wasn't, the most athletic, but none of us really were at that level. We just knew how to play the game. Could play the game. I watched him in basketball camps, and his teams would always win. The young kids that he was coaching, he always got them to win championships. So it was natural that you could see that he was going to be a good coach. He went on and had a Division I head coaching career, and times are just different now. And I've always said, again, faith, family. So my trust in his father got me to where I am. Then it's time to be a family. So when he was out of the business and needed an opportunity, I had a position available that fit him perfectly. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You have to take care of family, especially one that's really good at what he does. So it's good having him around, and we'll get Coach back on the sidelines again, and he'll tell all these stories that you guys have only heard about. Now you'll get to see him and hear him real time. It's just fun. I can remember Coach's dad being around. I remember being around Coach's coach, his high school and college coach. Wow. So that's how I learned. I learned the business on family. So now we have a chance to kind of have Will, who's family. So, and then my son, family. It's just natural for me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Will is pretty cool dude. He's still a little scarred from Green Bay, but hear some of those stories. Yeah. When you think about Coach Bo Ryan, just as you was an assistant for him, player for him, like, what are some of the things you thought he did exceptionally well as a head coach that maybe other coaches that you've watched or even coached with?
Yeah.
What was just special about how he did things as a coach?
Well, the one thing that comes to mind first is the simplicity of everything that we did. And the way he came up, it's natural, right? Things are really simple. The film, the way you broke down film was so difficult. So it was all about, could you be innovative without having all the support that we have now? I mean, right now, shoot, I really believe anyone can put together plays, formulate a practice, because it's all out there in front of them. You can just type it in, ask AI, put together a basketball practice for me, and they can do it, right? But his ability to get people to actually do it was special. And his ability to be innovative in a time where you didn't really have all this technology was really special. And he was tough. But as a player, I never really realized like he was that tough. He was very clear on what he wanted. It was very simple, and he was very prepared. So I think those were the key qualities. But he can actually get guys to do it and get guys to stay. See, when we came through, we would have guys that were there for 5 years, never play for 4 of those years, and then their 5th year win a championship, be a starter. So imagine that. You're not even playing for 4 years. Redshirt a year, never see the floor for 4 years, and then now it's your turn, and you're a starter, and you're winning a championship. I think that's special. I think that just shows you how, one, the quality of players that we had, and 2, the connectedness, the family atmosphere that we developed, and the fact that he can just develop players. So he's a special person.
Yeah, it ain't happening no more with NIL and portal.
No.
I sometimes I wonder, like, how do you even have a player come back to be in the Hall of Fame? Like,
those things
because
are gone.
you can't do it.
Yeah, if there's any scoring record right now at a university, that'll never be broken. any of those records, because it takes years to accumulate those stats. We have 10 months with players, and we embrace that, and it's fun. Okay, 10 months with this group. Okay, now let's see what the next group's going to bring. Yeah, that's the mentality now.
Now, I never asked you this question, but like after I've thought about it over years and stuff that we've been together, like being with Coach Ryan, right? Mm-hmm. But you coached against Bobby Knight, Dr. Tom Davis. People don't realize how good he was as a coach in Iowa. Yeah. Like, what was that like as an assistant? Because Coach Knight was a character.
Yeah. Yeah. It when you're in it, obviously you're very respectful of it because you know what they've done. So then you're kind of eager to see if what you've been taught and what you're teaching the players, does it work? Can it work against them, right? So for me, watching us compete against those teams and being able to have a level of success was pretty special. But obviously the respect you have for those coaches and what they've done, and Bo Ryan's mentor, one of his mentors was Tom Davis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And on Tom Davis' staff was Bruce Pearl. So there's a lot of basketball. We're all connected. It's a big family. But the diamond press, that's a Tom Davis thing, Tom Davis right? Thing. Yeah. And the offenses and things that we run, cutters, that's a Tom Davis thing. Tom Davis, the thing that Bo added was a UCLA cut or an up screen. So it's just fun to see the connectedness of all of these coaches. But obviously, when you sit down and you see those guys on the other sideline, there's a level of respect, and you're like, wow, it's our turn to see if we can hang. And it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. How would you say that your former players would say, how are you different now from
That's
when?
a setup. Setting me up, man. That's a setup.
And you gonna be able to answer that question too.
That's a setup, man. That's a setup. That's a setup right now, right? Because I know, I have former players on my staff. So they say right now, you're soft. So you already. That's why you want me to say it out loud. It's different now, right? Like it is. We were taught lessons.
Yeah, we were.
We were taught to play the game and taught lessons. And a lot of the guys that we coach now were never going to be on teams back in the day just because of some of the personality things and there was no other outlet, right? So if you came up and your personality was one where you're a little hard-headed and didn't buy in, guess what? The high school coach didn't want to deal with you. You had no other option. So now you were the best player in pickup. You were that kid in the summer, best player on the court, but wasn't on the team. Well, we're coaching those kids now, right? Yeah. Because they have so many different opportunities. High school coach doesn't work. Okay, I can go to prep school. Prep school doesn't work. I also have AAU. Yeah. If that AAU team's at work, guess what? I got another AAU team I can go to. So they have more options now. And the way we coach is different. The way we're allowed to coach is different. So you have to adjust, right? So we were taught really hard lessons and in a way that was, it wasn't
an option.
Yeah, it wasn't about, feelings weren't part of it, man. It was like we were told something. If it didn't go that way, then guess what? Like my coach used to say, "Here's a quarter. Go call someone who cares." Right? It was that type of level. Now you've gotta put your arm around the kid and explain it to him once or twice, and allow that kid to say some bad things to you and say, "You know what, man? I don't have time to teach you that lesson. If you don't want to listen to me, someone else down the road will. But I have to figure out how to get the most out of you now." We're more in that type of position. Yeah. So I try to blend a little bit of both. My true personality comes out sometimes. I can't help it.
Right.
But also, I also know too, like I have a choice to respond. I have that. How am I going to respond? So if I'm teaching young men to respond a certain way, then when they say some crazy stuff, sometimes I have to show them that I have the self-control not to react.
Right.
Now, it's not correct. When you have a leader or a boss, they set the tone.
Right.
But so you have this dynamic now that's so different. And yeah, I'll say it makes us all soft. Yeah. We're all softer now.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing, when I was in Salt Lake, doing some recruiting, me and Everett, my cousin Byron, we went ate out afterwards, and we were talking about the old school coaches that probably couldn't coach now.
No way.
Like Bobby Knight. We were talking about Bobby Knight, Rick Majerus, Coach Bob Huggins. Like, man. and they just, I mean, I watched a lot growing up. Bobby Knight was in our practices, coming to recruit guys from our school, and I don't think he would ever adjust. could adjust.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would want to.
Right.
But we were talking about that, and it's funny because us growing up, that's what we knew, and so you had a respect for that, and you learned a lot. You learned a lot of life lessons from those coaches, and but yeah, things have changed quite a bit.
Yeah, nowadays these young kids are giving us life lessons. Like they're trying to tell us things. I listen to them. I'm like, okay, funny now. It's different.
Now, the question for you is a little different, because what I'll ask you is, how has it been for you to see Pops change from you, his day of coaching you, and how he's evolved now as a coach? Because it says a lot about coach to be able to change, because a lot of coaches ain't willing to change, and they're just saying, you know what, I'm done. The Coach K's of the world, and dudes are just walking away from it. And, and them dudes have been very, very successful. So they probably don't have no problem with walking away from it. But how do you say that, Coach has changed for the better? Because it is I think it's a talent. Because we sit here and say, like, Bobby Knight probably couldn't change. I know for a fact, hearing stories about Rick Majerus from my cousin, probably no way. So how has that been for you to watch him?
I would say, like, just working with, like, these dudes now, like, you got to be more caring, show them, like, you kind of care for them. And he does a good job with that. But then, like, now me being his son out there playing, he's more intense with me. And that makes perfect sense. But with other guys, yeah. And then, like, even at Western to now, he's changed. The intensity was a lot higher there. But that's also because we're in Macomb trying to win some games. But, yeah.
He liked McCombs. He said You want to buy a house in Macomb.
Yeah, I'm mad that I sold my house there. I was on the 7th green of the country club there. Man, life was good, man. Every year you evaluate yourself, right? In Macomb, we probably could have won 2 to 3 more games every year if, you just kind of take a deep breath on that kid that says something to you that's totally disrespectful. You just let it go, right? Because, and I say to myself, like, is that good or bad? It's not good. You can win a few more games, but it's not good for me or that young man. But you can win a few more games. So which one are you trying to do now? I think we're taking so many shortcuts to have immediate success that in the long term, it's going to come back and really hurt, right? So I look at it this way. I have 10 months with this group. I don't know how many life lessons I can teach. I can get to them to really change in 10 months, but I can at least, drop the hint and tell them these things, and eventually it'll stick in. But in 10 months, it's not. Yeah. You can't build a culture in 10 months. Yeah. You can coach and try to win games.
Yeah. And it's funny because I know you probably feel the same as I do. When we was players, and then you hear coaches getting in trouble for not letting guys get water. Shoot, we didn't get water either. Shoot. We might practice for 2 hours.
We're okay, right?
We practiced for 2 hours and didn't get no water. I remember we were talking about that and just like, shoot, ice and Epsom salt was our best friends when we were players. Now they got all this other stuff you can do. Put your leg and stuff. And
Normatec.
Yeah, it got all that stuff now.
We didn't even have a Home Depot bucket. It was that white bucket, the custodial bucket. Put your foot in there with some ice and some cold water.
I still do it now. I do it to the twins. They be like, Dad, this. I was like, that's how you going to get that swelling down, baby. But my kids will give it back to me if I'm hurting or something. They be like, hey, get that ice bucket, man. Yeah. Get you some Epsom salt and get in the tub. I get it back now. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, because I admire you as a parent, first of all, Coach, because I see the way you are with JT and Lil Rob and JoJo and Jackson. And so I don't know if you get it, but with my older kids, they always tell me and my wife we got soft. Mm-hmm. Like we got whoopings. You don't even touch the girls, Yeah. So how's that been as a parent, that whole transition? Actually, that question, that whole transition of, maybe being a little tougher on Lil Rob and JT, on how you're a little different with JoJo and Jackson. I have to say, girls actually soften you up with my twins. I just, I might yell, but I don't think I've ever whooped them. So
it's different.
Yeah,
it's different. It's but the things they say is also different too. Like yes. Robert didn't say much. Now Jackson's 7th grader. He's coming to me like, now literally, Dad, and I'm like, literally what? What are you talking about, man? The things that they say different. And quite frankly, we're just trying to stay out of jail, man. And we do those things that
our parents and grandparents did to us.
Listen, we're trying to keep our kids because they be in DCFS, and we're trying to stay out of jail. That's, I think at some point you gotta start thinking about that as
well. You just think about it, like I tell the twins, like, you interrupt Mom. Oh man! And I was like, in my day, you couldn't even talk to you. They'd be like, man. You speak when spoken to.
Don't come in the room.
Don't even come in the room.
Yeah.
Don't you see grown folks is in here?
Yeah.
You go back to your bedroom. It's just different. Yeah. Your parents back in those days were just threatening you and be like, go ahead and call. Call whoever you want to call.
That's why back in the day, those coaches, okay, whatever they said, you did. Your if a neighbor saw you do something wrong, they would get on you, right? Yeah. That's why now we deal with kids that they say whatever they want to you. Yeah, so you got to adjust.
Yeah, it was truly in our day when people said take a village. It was a village because my neighbor down the street could grab me by the shirt and then call my mom and be like, "Hey, I grabbed this boy by the shirt because this is what he's doing. I was like, oh,
And
don't tell him.
And what did your mom say first to you? From your mom would say, well, what did you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, what do you
nowadays
do?
it's
And
like,
now you gotta,
it's the opposite.
yeah, man. And then
Why you
just
put your hands on him?
the street lights? You got be home before the street lights. Now I know you want to play basketball.
Yeah.
You on that blacktop, but when that sun start going down, you better get home.
Yeah. No.
So it is different. I mean, and I get it.
Mhm.
You know, like my sons will come home, or my oldest daughter, and be like, y'all just the twins. Now there's some things we still do because the twins don't get their phones till the weekends, Friday to Sunday. They don't even watch TV. There's still some things, you know, you come home and read, and you know, there's a lot of stuff to do. You ain't gotta just watch TV all.
Look at it.
But, so I still do some of those things with them. The oldest twin, who's just sassy as heck, she always has something to say. Like she'll come like, none of my friends have to turn they all got their phones all week. And I was like, well, you can go live with them. And she like, whatever, you know. But she, you know, so you still, and I actually, you're like this, little Rob. The phone thing started when I was living in Stockton. I was coaching high school then. I was done with college stuff because I was making that transition. I woke up in the middle of the night. True story. Probably 2, 3 in the morning.
I've heard this story.
My son, the one that plays at West New Mexico, he's on FaceTime with his girlfriend, and they're both asleep. And I was like, what is this? And so me and my cousin talked about it. And he was like, well, make them go to turn their phones in at 10:30, and on the weekends, you don't take them.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I made that change, boy, they was pissed.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, man, what are you doing on the phone?
Yeah.
And y'all just sleeping and watching each other. I mean, I ain't watching each other. So, but you gotta have some of them principles. Now, you know, I get soft down the road, and the girls do get to. If they see them watching a game or something, they'll come in there and play like they're interested. They'll watch the game, and I don't say nothing. Like last night when the game's on. So, but you guys on social media, tell people how to follow you.
My Instagram 16 Jeter, and then I don't have a Twitter. It's about all the social media I use.
Man, I don't know. Rob Jeter something. Rob Jeter, I don't know, man.
I still got to get Braden.
I'm easy to find though, I guess.
I still got to get Braden to give me a Twitter account.
Yeah.
No,
It's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
X, X.
Whatever that.
We
means.
can still get on it, but I don't know. Some of that change is still hard. It's fun. I mean, sometimes I'll be like, and my son said, well, Pops, if you had social media back in the day, how you think? I said, man, I'm actually glad we didn't have it because I don't know.
Yeah, and there's some tough parts about it, for sure.
So, but, well, everybody, we have a game on Friday against Westminster at 6:30, so please come out and support us. And now we got to get back to the office and talk strategy. But I like to always want to thank Rob, my producer, and Ryan, our radio guy, for doing this because this wouldn't be possible without them guys. So see you next week, and I'm out.